Hey guys, back to working on the Scout. I've taken this thing out a couple of times on some light trail riding, and I haven't got any video of it yet, but I did have quite a bit of fun with it while I was out there. However, while I was running, I noticed the motor was getting really hot. Now the reason for that is the gearing. I've got that dinky GR7 up front, which is a front-mounted gear reduction unit paired with that split skid underneath. If you're not familiar with that setup, go back and take a look at the video that I did specifically on those two units to show you the benefits and what those pieces are all about. But anyway, the reason my motor was overheating is because of the gearing. This uses a final transmission gear as the spur gear, basically. Well, that is a 52 tooth gear, which comes out to be a pretty tiny spur gear. Now, I'm also using, I think, around a 14 tooth pinion. You can get smaller pinions, but I didn't have any on hand at the time, so I used what I had. Now, I could simply go to a smaller pinion on that motor, and that motor would probably do better than what I have right now. Now, I'm running the Tekin Redline 13.5 in this car. Now, it's not a bad motor, but it's a little lacking on the low-end power, especially with the gearing that is currently in there. Now, recently, Holmes Hobbies sent me this new Revolver S motor. Now, this is a censored brushless outrunner motor. If you're not familiar with a brushless outrunner, the outside of the motor actually spins. It is connected to the pinion shaft, and the base of the motor stays stationary. So you'll actually, if you look in there, you'll actually be able to see the whole motor can spinning. So the benefit to these is that they're torque monsters. Now this motor is around a 2000 kV, which is a little slower than I would run in a normal truck. However, with the gearing in this car being a little less than I would normally run as well, it's actually going to be a pretty good pairing. And again, it's a torque monster, so a little bit higher gearing side isn't going to be that big of an issue. So taking a look under the hood here, you can see that I've got the Tekin 13.5 sitting there. Underneath my decased Mamba Max Pro is that Dinky RC GR7. So this is the motor that I'm going to be pulling out, that Tekin 13.5, and I'm going to be replacing it with the new Holmes Hobbies brushless Revolver. Now, it is just a hair shorter. It looks like maybe an 1/8 inch to a 1/4 inch shorter overall. Now, if you've never seen inside of an outrunner motor, you can see here how much different it looks than your standard brushless inrunner. Here's the outside of the can, which is the part that spins. Then it has the pinion shaft installed on there. It has the magnets attached to it. 14 magnets, so 14 poles versus your standard 2 or 4 pole brushless inrunner. Inside there, you can tell that this is much different looking than your standard brushless motor. And again, on the base there, you can see the little bit of that circuit board that is what houses the sensor from Holmes Hobbies here. You can look right at the board and you can see that it's a Holmes Hobbies branded circuit board, so you can tell that this isn't just a rebadge of a Chinese motor. Now, on the topic of gearing, right now in there I've got a metal final gear and then a regular 48 pitch pinion. Now, in the split skid, I've got the full super shafty treatment on there, 6mm outputs, the whole deal. So Super Shafty also makes bulletproof guts for that GR7. Now, the first thing is this 32 pitch, 32 tooth final gear. Now, this thing fits right in there without any modifications, but it gives you that 32 pitch gear mesh, which is obviously a little bit more, you get more tooth engagement than you do with a 48 pitch. But recently, Rick came out with the 40 tooth version of that same piece. Now, the thing with this piece is that with these original GR7s, you actually have to do a little bit of filing or dremeling or grinding or however you're going to do it, a little bit of clearancing for this gear to fit in there. I can't confirm for sure, but I'm not sure that if on the later versions that clearance has been added in there. So I can't confirm that. You'll need to confirm that with Dinky RC or Super Shafty. So I am going to do the clearancing myself, and I'm going to put in this 40 tooth spur gear up in front in that GR7. Along with that, I'm going to run a 12 tooth pinion. Again, you can get lower. I don't have lower on hand. I'm just going to run one that I've got new in the package here. So that's what's going to go on there. All right, so we're going to get this thing thrown in there. I pulled my favorite scale accessory out of the shop, my functional central pneumatic cherry picker. You can close the valve on it and crank it up just like a real one. Don't ask me where to buy these things. I have no idea. I bought it used from somebody else, so don't ask me. Alright, motor swapped. 3 wires and a sensor plug. Pretty simple little deal. The only work that I really had to do was to grind out the inside of that GR7 up front. I just took my Dremel and went to town on it. Wasn't too hard, nothing too fancy or clean inside, just kept going until it was spun smooth. So pretty simple process overall. Took this thing, just ran it around here in the basement just to see how it felt. Everything worked great, no cogging down low. Even with the gearing how I have it, I did install that super shafty 40-tooth spur gear, and then I used a 12-tooth pinion. So my gearing is still pretty high. So we're gonna see how it does. I'm gonna check my temps constantly as I run this thing. All right guys, I wanna show you under the hood here. So here we have the brushless Revolver S motor. Now, as you can see, I threw a sticker on it, but I did that for a reason. I wanted to just try and show you guys how the outside of that motor actually spins. So it's for a reason more than just trying to whore my name out a little bit more, but it just kind of shows you that that thing actually does spin. My clearances are really tight in here. I probably got less than 1/8 of an inch here between the motor and the frame rail up front. So hopefully I don't ever end up with too hard of an impact and bend that frame and run it into my motor. But if I do happen to do that, I will definitely know. Anyway, I'm going to plug a battery into this and just fire it up. I'll let you guys see that thing spinning up front and give you an idea of what it does. This thing is a loud truck because the whole drivetrain is completely steel now. I mean, it's steel gear on steel drive shafts all the way around. So it sounds a little bit like a chainsaw. I'm running this truck off my Futaba 4PK SR. So you've got the typical chimes coming out of that motor from the Mama Max Pro. The low speed resolution is really good, especially for a brushless motor. Trying to get the smallest amount of startup I can just to demonstrate how slow this thing can turn tires. So it starts up a little bit higher, but you can bring it back down to just a tiny crawl. There was just that super low startup speed. Tons of torque, especially again with the gearing that we have in this. Now I'm just trying to run that at the slowest speed I can, but like I said, all that steel gear drivetrain really can make some noise. All right, that's gonna do it for tonight, guys. Pretty simple little motor swap, 3 wires and a sensor plug. Quick little deal. The only thing that took any effort at all was to get that dinky GR7 up front ground out to clear that bigger super shafty 42 spur gear. So really looking forward to this thing now. I have no worries at all about my drivetrain. I think the drivetrain is going to be 100% bulletproof, and that Holmes Hobbies motor will take care of any of the gearing problems that I had. All right guys, that's going to be it for tonight. Really looking forward to getting this truck back out there. Also looking forward to maybe throwing some more details at this thing when my Robo 3D printer comes in. It's scheduled to be in maybe the end of next week, maybe the week after that at the latest, I'm told. So super anxious, a little frustrated with the wait on that, but really looking forward to getting this thing out there nonetheless. So that's all I got for now, guys. Today is January 30th. I'll probably have this up on the 31st. That gives you 1 day left to register for the January giveaway. And if you're seeing this video late, go find whatever month you're watching this, go find the giveaway for that month. It's a giveaway for the month and a project update for the month. So go check those out, get in on the giveaways, and thanks for all your support, guys. We'll see you next time.